So, Mr. Ahluwalia, now that you've been here for 2 or 3 days and you got, I think, sense and a feeling of the place, what are your views of the location, the place, the area, in terms of nature, in terms of quietness, in terms of peacefulness, in terms of pollution-free atmosphere and things like that?
Well, okay. In a way, I'm glad you asked me this, Randhir. The thing is, you would have got my answer more or less through my writing in the days, weeks to come, whatever. But to come down to brass tacks, you see, I'll start off by a little tangent. All my life, I've traveled a lot. All my life, I've had this very peculiar thing that when I'm going out of Delhi, when I catch my flight, when I arrive at the destination abroad or whatever, my mood is very different. And when I'm going back to my own home, my mood is different. Now, most of the people who've traveled with me are very happy when they're going home. Mine is the reverse. Believe it or not, I start feeling a bit lonely when I'm going back to my own home. Maybe it's because I'm alone. So I only use this as a preamble, as a background to what you asked, that in a couple of days or less or whatever, I have actually started to feel at home. That's partly to do with my nature and partly to do with the property. You are promoting it as a homestay because it is a homestay. And by the way, in my opinion, homestays are the future. Sometimes I often wonder why people are crazy enough to go into big hotels and pay that kind. But I have predicted that homestays are going to become the thing of the future, by the way. Now, my personal opinion is that I would, to be very fair, I would say that I'm rather happy. By that I mean that there's a term called value for money. So now I know your rates, I know what your tariffs are, I know what your tariff is for one room, which is in the eventuality that you rent out one room, but normally obviously you like to rent. So I would answer very honestly that if you consider what you're charging and what you're offering, it's value for money. I would certainly not like to say it's the best in the world, but it's value for money. And I think if I've learned anything in 45 years of travel writing, it is that at the end of the day, no client anywhere in the world expects miracles, but he wants value for money. So it's positive.
Yeah, so basically what we wanted to do, or rather what I wanted to do, was come to a very peaceful place so that people could just unwind, relax, and maybe have nothing to do if they wanted it to be that way. Or if they wanted to go out, that this was a very good base for them to come and stay, base themselves and make, side trips, day trips, etc. to Almora, to Kusani, to Nainital, to Corbin National Park, or fit it in with one of the other destinations as an en route night halt.
Sure.
So if you're going to Nainital or you're going to Ranikhet, you spend a night here, then you go to the other place. So if you stayed there, that way also a comparative would come out between a bustling holiday place with a lot of tourists and with here being on your own by yourselves.
Right.
And also I have a very much added advantage of having my own land on the Ramganga river.
Right.
Now that again is a very different, peaceful situation. We managed to go to Nivriti River View the other day, and as you saw there at the moment, it's totally natural because the road has also not reached the area.
Yeah. So you're right. You see, you've said many things in what you've just said. One of the things you've said, of course, is that the location of Nivriti is very strategic. For that, I must compliment you, because when you bought this land, you must have had a vision. Nobody living in Delhi who doesn't have roots in Uttarakhand would invest his money in Uttarakhand unless he had a vision. So obviously, your vision, your long-term view has paid off, and I would congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
You also mentioned the fact that it's a good hop-off point. It is certainly a good hop-off point for, I myself can name a few places like Ranikhet, Corbett. Now Corbett is very sought out. I think everybody in Delhi would like to go to Corbett. I've been there 3-4 times. I may not have seen too many animals, but personally, for me, better than animals is the forest feeling. So there's Corbett, there's Rani Khet, there's Almora, there's Bhimtal. And then there are there's a string of very holy temples around. Now in Kashipur, I came to know there's a Gurdwara called Nankana Sahib. Very frankly, though I consider myself a minor authority on Sikhism, I didn't know about it.
But you've written a book on Gurdwara.
I have written a book on Gurdwaras, but I've written a book on the Gurdwaras I happened to visit as a saint where I could matha take or pay homage. This one, I did not go because I didn't know, but I intend to go. That's my intention tomorrow. I want to go. But there are many other temples. There's this Gurdwara, of course. And a temple or a Gurdwara is a very big draw for India. So I would say on the whole, you may have started this as an extension of a dream. But what you ended up doing is to have created a hardcore business proposal as a homestay, because it's got some very positive attributes. Very positive. Absolutely.
Yeah, and even the Gurdwara you were talking about, it comes under a category of a historical.
Exactly. So the book which you mentioned, my book is on his 60 historical Gurdwaras, but this one wasn't there. Why? Because I didn't know about it.
Right.
So that is why they say travel broadens the mind. You can read 50 times in your home, but when you're actually traveling, you learn. Whatever I've learned in my life, little bit, has been because of my 45 years of travel.
So actually, in spite of writing a book which was about, I think, 130 or 40 pages,
yes,
you have found a hidden gem in Kashipur.
I found a hidden gem in Kashipur. It is actually a gem, let me assure you, because that book has given me more pleasure than anything in life. I never even knew 10 years ago that I would ever do something. Some of my friends who sit and drink with me in the evening still have doubts, and they say, "Are you sure you wrote the book?" So they're pulling my leg. But yes, I discovered a hidden gem, but I also discovered this place is a hidden gem because of two reasons. One is that the whole idea of a homestay is that there's no fuss. See, a hotel is very good. I've spent 1/3 of my life in hotels and I've enjoyed myself. I feel more at home in hotels than in my own bedroom at home. But at the end of the day, there is an impersonal touch to a hotel naturally. You have 300 rooms, you have 2,000 staff, you get something like 700 guests a day. There's bound to be a little mechanism. Now here, 6 rooms, maximum of 12 people. Right now we had the place to ourselves. It's almost as if I could get up and tell your staff that, listen, hey man, make me a ginger tea. Now, you can do that in a hotel, but nobody does it. You'll just go to the coffee shop and all. So, to me, that is a plus point, and to me, that is something that people crave for. Because life is becoming rather mechanical. So I think it's not just the location, not just the views, which, by the way, I think are among the best in Uttarakhand. So I think you have chanced upon a beautiful location. But I think deep down, for me, the main charm is that I can actually put my legs up. I can actually tell one of your staff that, hey, listen, man, I feel like a coffee. Can I have a strong coffee? That is the essence of homestay, that you're made to feel it. And I must say, I don't want to compliment you too much and give you a solid head, but I have been made to feel it.
Thank you. Well, that's what we try to do. We try to aim to please.
Well, I think
concept of a
you're very much on the
homestay is actually, in the real sense, giving a person the keys to your place.
Yeah. So, as the owner of an establishment, you will be very justified in asking me questions because I'm a journalist. People ask me questions. But I'm now going to tell you something which you didn't even ask. I just mentioned that I get the feeling here, which is a very relaxed feeling, that even if you're not here, I could come with 5-6 friends or a friend or a partner, because it's like the doors are open, if you see what I mean. There are so many establishments, guest houses or rather hotels, where there is an impersonal touch. So it's as if like the lights are on, but no one is home, if you see what I mean. This is the opposite. The lights are on and everybody is home. You walk in, you walk out. So that is a plus point, that you don't have to be here 24 hours just because guests are here. You can be doing your business in Delhi and the guests can come, stay for 2-3 days and leave in a such way. That I think you have created, A, by the fact that you have split it into 2 units, which gives a sense of privacy, which gives a sense of space. And B, to some extent, I have always believed it's the human factor that counts. So now today, I wanted a ginger tea, and I just told the guy to hurry up when we came back. And sure enough, the ginger tea came. So I think these little things go a long way. Everybody is mentally prepared that he has to spend money for accommodation. But what is offered in a homestay, I think, is that slightly personal touch, which is what I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what the world wants. They want that value for money, which I think Nivriti is supplying.
Thank you, and thank you for your positive comments and encouragement for us to do.
You're welcome.
We have employed local people when we constructed.
Always better.
We had local staff, etc. We've used women also for work, for the garden maintenance, etc. So even the villagers have benefited from this. And the other is that we also understand that the location and the views and the weather play a very important role.
Yeah.
Not everybody can book an entire villa with 3 rooms, which would turn out to be expensive.
Yes.
So then we got into the concept of having a cottage with different rooms at cheaper price points. So at least somebody can come and stay here, visit the place and enjoy it, and which is affordable for that person. So that will hopefully increase our visibility.
There are different what is called metrics of size in the hospitality industry. And let me make that simpler to understand. So, I would say the bare minimum for a hotel would be 9 rooms, and the bare minimum for a guest house would be 4 rooms. And you have got 6 rooms in a homestay. A homestay is like a guest house with a slight emphasis towards home comforts, home ambience. So I don't want to take the liberty of telling you what to do, because you're a businessman and it's your business also. But I would say that this business of 6 rooms is perfect. Maybe if you had 1 more room, some bigger groups could come. But I would be very happy if you don't ever convert this into a 12-room, 15-room, because then, it'll lose that little touch where I can tell the guy, give me a ginger tea, if you see what I mean. So I think, I may be wrong, but I think I'm not. I think that's what people want. Because, people come in groups of 4 and 5, 2 couples, 3 couples. They are familiar with one another. That comfort factor is there. They don't want other groups to be intruding. So here that won't happen. If somebody is renting out your 3 rooms there, then he owns that place for 2-3 days. That's what they want. They want to be left alone. So I think you've done a good job. Hats off to you and congratulations. I wish you well.
Thank you so much, and I have a question for you.
And anytime you'll get lonely, you can invite me.
You've done a lot of travel books. You've written on various countries, destinations. You've in fact even got awards from certain countries for your contribution towards tourism, etc.
Yes.
Have you done any book specific to India on tourism and travel?
Yeah, I have not done a book specifically to India on travel. In my archives, I have the material, but when I will do it, frankly, I don't know. But many people have said to me, many have said to me over the years that you have been writing on these 70, 80, 100 countries. How about doing a book? In fact, there's a gentleman I know, Mr. Jain. He built my house. He's a builder. He has been telling me for a very long time to do a book on Uttarakhand, because he lives in Noida now, and he travels with his wife and a group of people. They go in a group, and they are normally mostly vegetarians, and he has been after me for I think 5-6 years to write a book on Uttarakhand, because he said people are dying to get away to the mountains. So now, I believe what he's saying, but when I'll do it, I don't know. But through my articles in newspapers and magazines, I do promote. I've written so many articles on COVID, in spite of the fact that I have not had luck in COVID. Every time somebody asks me at a party, what is COVID like? I've said, it's good. I've not seen the tiger, but probably you will. And I get very angry when they phone me 3 days later and say, thank you very much, we saw 2 tigers, which I've not seen. And this has actually happened to me many times. But on a lighter vein, I've always believed that, it's the experience. And now I've started to say, even in my travel talks, that frankly, it doesn't bother me anymore whether I see a tiger or I see this. Believe it or not, when I went to Kanha National Park a couple of times, I fell in love with the trees. They've got these giant sal trees. And those are the trees from which they take the wood to make their seating in Indian railway coaches.
Right.
It comes from sal wood. I've been twice. On my first visit, it was not so pronounced. But on my second visit, I told members of our group, I said, you guys were crazy about the tiger. We saw 2 tigers there. And Kana is a jungle. It gives you. But I said, for me, I've been interviewed many times, and somebody did interview me there. So, and I said, for me, the most attractive thing of Kana is these giant trees. I mean, imagine they're 200 years old. So, I think in a way, every traveler differs from another. So I told you that instead of feeling elated when I'm going home, I feel a little happy, but I also get a feeling of loneliness. This has been there for me forever. So I'm afraid that will happen. So the point I'm trying to make is that don't be surprised if you see me very shortly again.
Well, we would be very happy if you came again.
Oh, let me put that on record.
And I hope when you do write your book on India and tourism in India,
oh, yes,
you remember us and feature us.
Promise.
And you feature us as part of our
that is a promise.
Visit to when you come
as
to
a matter of fact, Mr. Jain had wanted me to write a book on Uttarakhand's attractions and establishments where to stay. And he's been at it for 6-7 years. I would not say I have the full material, but I have some material on that. Maybe one day. So that is how it is. And actually, it's like I said, the main thing here is the sense of relaxation. Time means nothing. I mean, I'm wearing a watch. Normally in Delhi, I look at my watch 20 times in an hour. People tell me, what's the problem? Is it you don't like my company or something? I said, no, nothing. It's just a habit. But here, I don't look at my watch that much because that's what these places do to you. Time just floats by. But yeah, that's
so. If you stay here long enough, you'll also look at your watch here to see what time is sunrise, so you get the correct views.
Sunset.
What time is sunset?
What time the bar opens?
Bar opens.
Yes, very important.
Here, I've been fortunate enough to see the sun, moon, and a rainbow all three in the sky at the same time.
Well,
which is very rare.
You know what? I'm a very busy man, but for you, I'll make an exception and come back.
Great. We look forward to having you.
Wonderful. Here. That's great.
So I think, thank you, and maybe now you just have a look around.
Yeah, now I'll attend to all my affairs of the world, and nothing works without me, as you know.
Right. Thank you.